Hey, hello guys, welcome back to Let's Play ChäoS Head. Sena was about to brandish her D-sword. Slightly beforehand, Ch.10 abruptly stood up. Kozu, who had been on pins and needles as she watched their exchange, was torn over whether to stop their quarrel, but the pain in her foot made her give up. She wasn't sad, but something wept, sobbing in the depths of her chest. Ch.10 took a long stride towards Sena. Slow to react, Sena switched to a receiving attack, but as she braced her legs, one of her feet caught on some gravel. Her position crumbled, unsteadiness entered her movements. Sena's sharp aura was snuffed out. She was frightened. She'd maintained herself by hating her father. But when it came to confronting him, she became afraid to face him. She herself didn't understand why. At least, it was certain that what her father had said right beforehand lay at the root of it. Ch.10 came rushing at her with astonishing force. Oh my god, will he throw himself on the sword? Who knows? Find out on the next episode of Dragon's Ball B. She fell backwards. She swept her massive D-sword up from below. A sword that disregarded both gravity and centrifugal force. Ooh. Its blade began by gouging out the tiles of the platform, then slashed her father's shoulder. Cleanly, like a hot knife slicing through butter on a YouTube video that has way too many views for the lack of effort it goes through. Her father's hand sent her flying. Oh wow, that's cool. Fresh blood danced from his wound. Her father's relieved eyes. Sena bit her lip. Ooh. Having flown from behind him, something grazed in his cheek and vanished. Just like my mouse cursor. What the fuck? Blood spurted not only from his shoulder, but also from his chest. The scarlet liquid overflowing from his wounds caught Sena on the cheek. That's a really cool CG art. A bullet? Shoved away, collapsed on her back. Sena instantly raised her face and looked for the person who had fired a gun. Wow, you're a dick, Sua. Sasuga Suada, the guy who's named after a fucking sewer. Alright, let me take a sip of my drink here. This Let's Play is sponsored by Spa Intense. Intensement Pétillant. Intense Braised, which is Belgian water. Wow, the waffle man from Belgium drinking Belgian water. Who would have thunk it? Anyways, that man stood on the boundary between the Shinsen Station tunnel and the tunnel continuing toward the Shibuya Station. In a crossway that was the sole place from which one could see a wide piece of the sky, there was a revolver in his hand. Sena's father toppled over beside her. His upper body was already bloodstained. It can't be. He protected me? Sena stared disbelievingly at the pool of blood spreading across the tiles. Her father mumbled, his breathing feeble. The bullet had been aimed at Sena, and Ch.10 had taken it instead. She was supposed to have been trying to kill her father, but her father had saved her life. Oh no, the ear rape sounds. Sena gripped her D-sword harder. An odd sound resounded through the platform. Sena instantly came to the revelation that it was coming from a Noah 2 terminal. How long had this sound been ongoing? She couldn't forgive him. She could never forgive that gun-bearing man, he whose existence had interfered with and kept her and her father from settling things. When she stood up and looked ahead of her. Oh, that's the bad voodoo. The baby. The baby. This is now a Metroid Other M Let's Play. Hi guys, welcome to Let's Play Metroid Other M. Okay, whatever. A baby's wail rang through the dim platforms. Sena sensed something out of place in her hands. For some reason, in place of her sword, she was embracing a rotting Who wrote this script, man? On some heavy doobies. She reflexively flung it away from her. Yeah, fuck. Don't kick the baby. Kick the baby. But she soon realized it was the little sister she had only seen once before. Her sister, whose name she did not know, who had been devoured by her mother. Nom nom. Nop nop nop. The baby, who before her eyes had gaping bite wounds on it. White bones and pink shreds of flesh clinging to them peeked out from the gaps in its dried out skin. Alright. That's some cool detail. Sena became lost again. She couldn't take her eyes off of it. Ooh. Yikes. Blue waffle. Don't Google that. Don't do it. Trust me. Do not fucking do that. She couldn't forgive herself for throwing her little sister away, for finding it disgusting. I said it. Wow. I treated a person as an object. I am now a confirmed fascist. It had been the same back then, when she was compelled to watch her mother's last moments. The image of her mother dying in the grip of insanity. Her sister's miserable corpse, embraced by her mother, gnawed upon by their mother. When she was forced to watch it, more so than sorrow or dread, what she had felt was disgust. It remained inside her as guilt. She diverted her eyes from that emotion by hating her father. Even though, in a corner of her head, she understood that this was a psychological attack brought on by a delusion. It awoke emotion sealed deep within her heart, leaving her as incapable of movement as if she'd been bound hand and foot. Right, Noah 2 is some scary shit, bro. And the same thing applied to Kozu, who we know really little about, so maybe we're gonna learn more now? Backstory? I don't know. As Kozu sat in the place where she'd sunk down, a vast mirror appeared before her eyes, and she questioned her reflection, which likewise had a blood-soiled foot. Terror paralyzed her. Enormous teardrops spilled out from her eyes. Wounds she had wanted to forget, a past she hadn't wanted to remember. Decayed tears leaked forth, and in her heart as well, she began longing to escape. Not wanting to look at the mirror, she wished she could turn her face away. Despite that, her body stayed unmoving, in opposition to her will. And on the other side of the mirror, she wasn't crying. There's a man in the mirror. Please watch my Max Payne Let's Play. Hey, that's not creepy at all. She was falling into a gestalt collapse. Ooh. This reminds me of that one scene from from Twilight Princess, where the girl is like falling down like It's a great scene. In the same way as in the past, when she lost her ability to speak. In the same way as in the past, when her heart was shattered. She ceased to perceive herself, questioning her from the depths of the mirror as herself. She was uncertain of her own voice. She was uncertain of her own hairstyle. She was uncertain of the shape of her own nose. Hey, that sounds a lot like me. Hey! She was uncertain of the color of her eyes. Actually, my eyes are kind of cool. Well, they're not yellow, orangish. They're a mix between green, blue, gray, and there's a very, 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 very tiny bit of this color in there as well. She was uncertain of her fullness of lips. Get a lip job. She was uncertain of her own shape. Well, you're fucked. She was uncertain of her own face. Well, you're fucked again. This is a good question. Ooh. Her image had been on the verge of splitting infinitely without the mirror. At the voice that suddenly came flying to her, it stopped multiplying. Cool effect. Her identity was re-establishing itself. Kozu came back to herself. The colossal mirror towering before her broke into tiny pieces. Kozu looked for the source of the voice that saved her. In the passage leading toward the turnstiles, she recognized his form there. In a real voice, which was supposed to have been lost, Kozu cried out that name. Hey, that's pretty good. Kozu cried out, not just in her heart, in reality. Come to think of it, this was the first time I'd ever heard her speak out loud. It was thanks to Kozu that I managed to come running here. While near the police box atop Dogan Hill, I distinctly heard her inner screams for help in my head. And once I ran off, relying on her voice, there was Sena, going white as if she was forced to witness a delusion I couldn't see. Kozu and Hatano-san blood-drenched and fallen. Man, here's a stroke of luck.
こいつはラッキーっすね.
Oh, well, that's what he's supposed to be saying. Okay, yeah, well, here's a stroke of luck. Okay, that's what Suwa said. A man stood near the crossing with a revolver in his hand. Maybe he thought it was some kind of gunman, going by how he twirled the gun around and around his fingers. Though he was in a suit, he also wore a rucksack, and from within it reverberated a nasty mechanical noise. Suwa Mamoru, a detective in the investigative department at the police headquarters. I had met this man once before. I now also work at the police headquarters. Feels good, man. Maybe there's some guy like Suwa who's just has like a fucking Noah 2 machine strapped to his back. That'd be fucking crazy. Alright, hold on. I gotta take a sip. And I knew what this man had done.
もともとは目障りな畑の親子を処分しに来たんすけどね。西条くん、君が自分から火に飛び込んできてくれて感謝感激っす。君を見かけたら捕まえろってことになってるんすよ。
誰に？
内緒っす。
I mean, you know, it's fucking noticeable, right? A flippant smile. That way of smiling brought his late partner, Detective Bond, to mind. But there was a decisive difference between them. Yeah, one's alive and one's dead. Detective Bond's smile had been a performance, meant to set other person off guard, or else irritate them. When it came to Suwa, on the other hand, the sly smile itself was his true nature.
あんたはノロセの居場所を知ってる？
西条くんさ。
Suwa shook his head exaggeratedly and let out a sigh.
口の利き方に気をつけてほしいっすね。自分の方が年上っすよ。
バンっていう人を殺したのはあんただ。
だから
刑事のくせに人を殺すなんて。
I mean, has it ever come to mind he's probably not a fucking detective?
君には言われたくないっす。
I clenched my D sword tightly, and my butt cheeks as well, because I'm using a sword to a gunfight.
あんたみたいなやつに敬語を使う義理なんてないよ。
敬語。
そんな舐めた口聞いていいんすか？殺すぞ、童貞野郎。
Dote. Cherry boy. Dote means virgin. That's right, cherry boy, just if you're wondering. I could tell clearly, even from this distance, the smile had disappeared from Sua's face. And without moving a step out of place, he made an unexpected gesture, as if he were shaking out his free hand. The Matrix dodged. An impact, pain, abrupt sensation. When startled, I looked at my shoulder. A familiar cross was protruding from it. No, not a cross. This was a stake. Wow, that really turned up the stakes. Alright, enough of that. One of the cross-shaped stakes that had been used in the staking incident. It come too faster for me to see it. The dimness of the premises also contributed to how I'd completely failed to notice it flying at me. Sua had thrown it all this distance without the slightest inaccuracy. I tentatively touched the stake. It felt cold and smooth. Was this a delusion? Or was it the real thing? The pain grew steadily stronger and stronger. I couldn't flex my hands. I couldn't hold on to my D-sword. Sua spoke in a voice tense with repressed fury. Hey, calm down. At some point, Sua had come to grip with the cross-shaped stake in his hand. Forcibly suppressing his explosive anger, he unleashed that stake at Nishijo Takari. It utterly ignored the laws of physics and air resistance. Yikes. As though it had a will of its own, it shot a straight line as though it had a will of its own. It shot in a straight line to stab through Takumi's arm. So far, 15 stakes had hit their marks. Not a single miss. Takumi's shoulders, upper arms, wrists, palms, waist, thighs, knees, shins. Blood lapped idly out of his deeply pierced wounds. Wow, this is like a perfect lyrics to a fucking death metal album. Cannibal Corpse, take notes. I did the fucking click again. The next stake was already in Sua's hand. He repeated the same motion, flinging it. Yikes. Whoa, what's this, dude? What an amazingly strange feeling, I thought. He probably isn't listening anyway, so I thought. Sua hurled another stake at Takumi, whose head was hanging, who had no way to resist what was happening. Everything was thanks to the Noah 2 terminal inside the rucksack Sua wore on his back. As long as he had this with him, he could enjoy the benefits of Noah 2's power even without being nearby it. He would become an artificial gigolomaniac. Okay, the same here. Sua was completely possessed by power. Sua had been completely entranced by power. A member of the Vanguard who would do anything, no matter how filthy, for the sake of the teachings he followed and for their founder. Sua hurled yet another stake. It penetrated all the way to the back of my neck. Okay, well that said, it went into Takumi's neck as well. Brutally seethed in Sua's heart as he wondered how long he could withstand it. Brutality seethed, I mean. It was like torture. Bit by bit, I advanced towards death. As though torturing him, Suwa would make him advance toward death bit by bit. Though incapable of resistance, I tensed my legs to keep from falling over. Incapable of resistance, yet still not falling over. I went on taking stakes in every part of my body. Ooh. He went on receiving stakes in every part of his body. My chest, the stomach, the tip of my toes, all throughout my body. Takami's chest, his stomach, the tips of the toes, all through his body. Thick, sharp stake kept pounding into me without mercy, so I kept making thick, sharp stakes pounded into him without mercy.
虫ピンで標本にされた昆虫みたいだな。しかもカブトムシとか蝶とかじゃない。お前みたいなガキにはコガネムシあたりがお似合いだ。
I had already reached the point at which it was impossible for me to stand. Takami had already reached the point at which it was blah blah blah. Willpower alone was what kept me from collapsing, so I couldn't help but find it strange that he hadn't collapsed yet. But I'll hit my limit soon. But he would have to hit his limit soon. My God. Drinking carbonated drinks and then doing a fucking Let's Play recording. Will I ever learn? Whew. His eyes were empty, and in all likelihood, he wasn't seeing anything anymore.
遺言があるならいいな。ただし20時以内だ。
So it said gloatingly to me, holding the next stake in his hand. So it said to me gloatingly, holding the next stake in his hand. I mean, fuck's sake, Sena. You can start, swinging at the damn Noah 2 console already. With the next one, he'll kill me. So we'll kill him with the next one.
さっき童貞やろうって言った。
傷ついたのか？
I glared at Suwa, relying on his far-off voice to find him. Takami glared at Suwa with lightless eyes.
これが最後の一本。信仰の救いはお前にはやらねえよ。
I sensed the stake Suwa had flung as it sliced through the air. Suwa flung the stake in his grasp.
知ってる。
It was the stake of certain death, a cross to bring me to the promised gospel. The one who would die with a single blow was... Oh!
童貞の妄想力はすごいんだ。
With a dull sound, the stake plunged deep into his forehead. Agony erupted throughout Sua's body, gushing up from within him. All of the agony devouring my whole body went away, almost like it had been a delusion. Or an illusion, sorry. Suwa let out a voiceless scream, moaning. I let out a deep breath and licked my parched lips. Sua's entire body was impaled with cross-shaped stakes. In my hand was a single cross-shaped stake. When he looked up, there was a cross stuck in his forehead. When I looked up at the sky, there were leaden clouds.
復活の奇跡は物語で妄想なんだ。何をした。
Wow, he totally used fucking Dio's the world. That's what he did.
妄想シンクロ。
A simulation with delusions, an invasion of the heart. Like two sets of ripple cancelling each other out, like two wavelengths resonating, entwining with another, melting together. The fate you created would be warped, warping the fates created by others, and switched out, switching them in. No one could do that, Suwa thought disbelievingly. No one could do that, said Sua's expression.
神の先兵ならメシアと同じように朽ち果てろ。
Takami tossed the stake away. I tossed the steak away. Colors were rapidly vanishing from Zua's vision. Sua's eyes were rapidly losing their light.
それと、僕は救いなんかいらないよ。
Sua no longer gave any answers. Standing, he breathed his last.
コズピー、大丈夫？
Well, shit. That was brutal. Still slumped down, she bobbed her head in a nod. But it appeared as if she couldn't stand up on her own. She looked up at me with sparkling eyes.
たくみさん、今、何が起きたの？
Well, you see, it's something called Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina, sorry. Kozu, you're talking normally.
Huh?
Hmm? Yeah.
あ、本当だ。
Wow, they even gave her animations, fucking PogChamp. Poggers. Putting a finger to her lip, she tilted her head in wonder. But she soon appeared to tire of thinking about it.
童貞さんの妄想力はすごいの？
すごいよ。
Wait, does that mean you're not a virgin? WTF? Question mark. Sena had said that ignorance was a sin, but I didn't agree with her. It's precisely because you don't know about it that you can supplement your ignorance with delusions. Yes! Yes! This is delicious! Your delusions can swell up, get as big as overblown you want them to. What? You're gonna have the sorts of delusions that would be impossible to have if you knew. It's true. I mean, I don't know. Oh, fuck. I just admitted it. Alright, whatever. Delusions are a virgin's #1 talent. I guess I do have a talent. Yeah, fuck yeah. Speaking of which, what about Sena? I looked around for her in a poorly lit platform. Sena stood at the edge of the platform, her head lowered. At her feet was
畑野さん。
Hatano Issei, lying in a puddle of blood. He no longer showed any signs of moving, and even I could tell his life had ended. Fuck. I hadn't made it in time, even though I thought he might know how. Fuck, dude. You know what? Why am I even doing this Let's Play anymore? I can't read. I obviously can't read. I've said this like every episode. I hadn't made it in time, even though I thought he might know Noah 2's location. Alright, there we go.
Noah 2は渋谷駅のすぐ横にある。
Sena murmured, gazing down at Hatano-san, at her real father's remains, as if she'd seen through what I was thinking.
この男が死ぬ間際に私の心に伝えてきた。渋谷駅の東口、ビルの屋上にある。今は閉鎖されたプラネタリウム。
Ooh, sounds familiar to people who've seen other pieces in this series.
そこにノア2がある。
どうも。
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. I waffled over whether or not to say anything to Sena. She had borne a grudge against her father. She had longed to kill him. Despite the fact that her heart's desire had been granted, her back looked terribly lonely.
くそ。私をかばって。それで罪を償ったつもりか。
Sena's words were aimed at her father's unresponsive corpse.
お前は自分の罪を認めた。その上で私に見せつけるように自殺したようなものだ。許せない。私はお前を許さない。セナさん、心が泣いてるの。本当はお父さん殺したくなかったのら。
Kozupi's whisper hit the nail on the head. That was when Sena stopped showing us her resolute attitude. Shoulders shaking, she dropped heavily to her knees.
どうして生きて罪を償おうとしないんだ。どうして私を一人にするんだ。 うして。
セナ。
西条、お願い。
Sena lifted her face. Her tear-soaked expression was not the severe-looking face she usually wore.
ノア2を壊して。
It was the frail look of a lone girl heartbroken over the loss of her father, her family.
僕を殺そうとしたくせに、君のお願いなんて聞く義理はないよ。
匠さん。
Oh, shit! That was brutal. Turning my back on Sena and Kozu, I began walking down the tunnel to Shibuya Station. Two wide, gaping holes. What? I mean, you know, virgins have some pretty wild imaginations. You know what they say. What spread out in their depths was a deep darkness. If I passed through there, it was direct route to Shibuya Station.
僕は僕の目的のためだけにノア2を壊す。絶対に。
I had a feeling that Sena said something, but I was no longer listening. Hey, that's pretty good. Ooh. Alright. Good. Alright, it's time to save Roni. Pepperoni. Boom. We saved it. From when is this? Ooh, look at that date. Today is the 16th. Oh my goodness. It's actually the 15th. What the fuck? Oh yeah, I see. It's because it's set to Japanese time. Okay. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one, which I will not be recording today, as my reading has obviously left and failed me. Until then, pardon, and thanks for watching, as always.